Tyler King, the best of the best. He was a phenomenal defensive end in college who parlayed that into an NFL career. Then he went on to MMA, where he also had success. Now, all he does is train, teach class, beat that ass, and pound that ass. Get ready for the MMA Report.
Wow, and that says it all.
Doesn't it?
97.9 Unity Radio, the MMA Report with Tyler the Marauder King from Crowne Sports and Entertainment. And yes, he got up today. He did some training. He taught some classes. And then he beat some asses.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Then he pounds them after. He just pounds them. Good to see you, Tyler.
Steve.
We got to see you Monday night with some interesting takes on the NFL and money line. And Ozzy, we're very happy for Ozzy Martin. Good for you and your crew.
Mm-hmm.
That's very impressive. Very happy that he is doing well.
Anytime you make a guy tap out the strikes, it's a good night.
Right. No, I get that. And you did, like I said, you did say he was going to play croquet on his forehead.
He did play croquet on his forehead.
And he did.
He really did.
So the UFC Fight Night that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But first I wanted to ask you, the Jon Jones Logan Paul fight boxing match got nixed.
You mean Conor McGregor?
I'm sorry, what did I say? Yeah.
Jon Jones.
Conor McGregor. Yes, it got nixed in India by Dana White, and it's funny because TKO basically owns the WWE and the UFC.
Yeah,
they shot it down.
Yeah,
even though they were going to get paid a fortune for it.
They were,
and that's disappointing. What was your take on it? Do you think it's because Dana White is just fed up with McGregor and says, "Listen, dude, you got to fight"?
I think that's definitely a part of it. TKO and Dana definitely want Conor McGregor back active. They want him back in the MMA world. They want him back to relevance, part of the conversation in the lightweight division. The one thing that really strikes me here, though, is I feel like this was more of Dana and the UFC and TKO protecting their brand. They don't. McGregor.
That's true.
McGregor is, at this point, a pop culture icon. Like, he's a fighting icon, but
he hasn't been winning.
World of pop culture is undeniable. Right. So if he goes, and Logan Paul also, a pop culture.
Yeah, he's a YouTube influencer. Yeah, big time.
And take it back. TKO's involved on both sides as Logan Paul rather is employed by the WWE. I believe he is the current. He's the current United States champion.
He's a U.S. Yeah, he's a U.S. champion. Correct.
So TKO. I mean, obviously Dan's on the board with TKO, and he's talking to Triple H and Stephanie, and I get the feeling
Stephanie's not on the board, but okay.
Oh, Triple H, Paul Levesque.
Paul Levesque is, yes.
So Paul and Dana probably had a conversation.
Nick Khan, yep.
Yeah, Nick Khan as well. I would assume, educated guess, think that Triple H probably isn't crazy about Logan doing this because
really,
let's say Logan goes out and McGregor knocks him out. That makes, you know, whenever a certain guy, you know, in wrestling, you obviously know this, when they talk about a finish and finishers, they want to make, like, a lot of guys
Yeah, they
want to,
like
like,
the
kick out, like they
yeah,
want to look, they want to make one character even in defeat look strong.
exactly. Yes, they try to do that with the
So
finishes.
I feel like Triple
It-
H and Dana probably put their heads together. They said, listen, like, as far as TKO goes, however this plays out, if one of these guys gets knocked out, that damages
it hurts
one of
our
our
brand.
brands.
Right. Right.
You know,
That's a good analysis. I never thought of that.
it
I
damages
never thought
it
of that.
damages one brand either way. If one guy
Yeah.
gets absolutely smoked,
Yeah.
so you know,
Why
I
do
feel
it?
like this. I feel like Dana and Paul probably put their heads together and thought this is a lose-lose situation for
Even with
us.
the money they're going to make, it's
Exactly.
still, they don't
Well,
care. They
like
don't need it.
let's be serious right now. TKO being the conglomerate, the WWE and the UFC, they're both raking in the dough right now.
Right now
So
they are, yes.
either way, their interests are
They're
connected
aligned.
now.
They're aligned.
So
They're absolutely aligned.
either way, the upside of one of the guys getting starched, which is a very good possibility on both sides. You know, judging from Conor McGregor's behavior and most likely rampant drug use and
Rampant drug use.
rampant drug use. And
That's quite the
I don't know
allegation,
shit.
Tyler. That's quite the allegation.
Listen, I'm not making an allegation. I'm just going about what's been reported. Like, there's a lot of rumors out there that Conor
Yes.
McGregor
Yes.
is very into the yayo.
Yes,
I'm
he
not
is.
saying he is. I don't want to talk shit because a bunch of really good friends of mine were hanging out with Connor this past weekend at the BKFC
Oh,
event
oh
in
yeah, he likes that.
Philadelphia.
He likes the BK,
No,
uh, and
he's a
he's a
share
part owner.
he's a part owner of
Yeah,
BKFC now.
yeah,
They were in
yeah.
Philly this weekend, and my good friend, former coach and training partner Tom Egan, who's also the first Irishman to ever fight in the UFC, he went down with a bunch of his crew, hung out with Connor. Anyway,
Really?
oh yeah.
Was Connor alone, or he just let him hang out with them?
Well, Connor and Tom go way back, so they
Okay.
were they've had the differences that I know they reconciled recently. Don't want to put anyone's business out there, but yeah,
Yes, put it out there. That's what the show's about. Put it
they
out
all
there.
went there. A few of my buddies and Tom Egan, who's a really good friend of mine, went down for the BKFC event in Philadelphia and hung out with Connor this weekend, and you know they obviously had a great time. Connor
Sure,
is
sure.
Connor is the epitome of the amazing hype man. Like, no matter what he does, like, it gets views. So
But he doesn't seem like he's a good human being.
I think he got a raw deal in this
He,
court case,
he
and it
beats
was
up women.
definitely manipulated. The Matrix definitely came
Well,
after him.
yeah, I would agree with you because he didn't get charged criminally. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So with that being said, um, going back, the Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor boxing match, TKO was in a lose-lose situation there.
yeah,
If
right,
one of
right.
the like anyway you slice it, Logan is a big draw in WWE right now. If he gets
He is.
starched, that
He
damages his
is.
brand.
Yes.
And the UFC, so Dana's side of TKO, had the most to lose if Conor lost that. Because if
Mm.
Conor loses, they lost to a fake wrestler. Listen, Logan Paul is
Nobody says the word fake, Tyler. There's no such
scripted wrestler.
thing. Yeah.
Anyway, the people listening on the radio can't see the air quotes I just did. All our viewers
It's
on the
not
podcast.
fake. There's nothing fake about it. They kill each other. It's
It is
just choreographed. It's
it is
choreographed.
predetermined.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes. But the
you
physicality is pretty
don't
real.
need to tell me what the physicality is of it, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about public perception. If Conor got starched by Logan Paul, which is a possibility because Logan has shown in cutie for boxing, he is significantly bigger than Conor.
Mm-hmm.
Conor could get starched. And if Conor got starched, well, that really damages the UFC's brand. Now, if Logan, who is a top draw in WWE right now,
He's doing very well.
if
He's
he gets
exceeded
starched,
expectations.
if he gets starched, which is a very real possibility, versus Conor McGregor in a boxing match, he gets starched by a smaller man, and
Right.
it
Right.
damages. Either way, TKO
It,
would
it,
take
it, I
TKO
see
would
what
take
you're saying.
damage to either guy getting losing. If it's a decision, it's not as bad. But there's a very real possibility that either guy could get knocked the F out. So
Yes.
if that happened, it would significantly
They'll
damage
lose money.
TK.
Yes.
It would significantly damage TKO's brand one way or the other. So I have a feeling Triple H went to Dana and said, "You have Conor under contract. Let's not play with fire here."
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
How much longer do you see Conor McGregor fighting in the UFC?
We'll see. Like
Do you-
he is in such a limbo right now
yes,
because
that's what I'm saying.
coming off the injury,
Well,
he's
it
been
was
gallivanting. He's been gallivanting around for months now.
he was
You know,
fine for the injury. The injury was healed after a couple weeks.
a couple weeks, bro.
It was
Bro,
a broken toe.
it took me 11. I came back 11 weeks after a very similar injury, and that was considered rushing it and kind of miraculous. You remember that?
Okay. Okay.
The-
No,
You don't remember that?
I
The Motor
do.
City Bowl?
Yes, but yours was a compound fracture.
No,
His was
mine wasn't a compound fracture. No, my ankle dislocated, but it was a broken fibula with a dislocated
yes,
ankle. I
and you
played
had
11
steel
weeks after. Hey,
steel
granted,
rods in it. Yeah.
I balled out. If I do
Yeah.
say so myself, I balled out. I was named the Motor City Bowl defensive MVP, but again, that was an outlier performance. I was lucky
No,
everything.
you fought your ass off to rehab and get back
I
for that
did.
game. I know
I
you
did.
did.
And I don't know. Marvin Hagler said it best. It's hard to wake up and run the cold when you're waking up silk sheets. Conor
Yes,
McGregor
you said
has
that.
Conor McGregor has FU money at this point.
That's what you said. Generational wealth.
So personally, I believe Conor still has that dog in him, but I believe it's been diminished. And
Yeah, it comes
either
out once in
way,
a while. Yeah.
either way, it was a lose-lose situation for TKO. So I have a feeling Triple H and Dana put their heads together and said, "Let's not play with fire."
So then obviously this means that McGregor Chandler has to happen.
No, it doesn't.
You don't think it has to happen?
It does not have to happen.
Chandler has been waiting a year for this. You don't think that
Well, Chandler
McGregor?
took a fight, and
I know he did.
Charles
He,
Oliveira took a dump in his eyeballs. So,
I know he did. I know he
so
did.
Michael
It didn't help
Chandler
him.
damaged his brand.
He did.
Also
He
damaged
did.
his chances of getting in a fight with Conor McGregor.
He did. No, I agree with you. I agree. He did because he was tired of waiting. He was tired of waiting. He wanted to fight. And I give Michael Chandler has a losing record in the UFC, but I give him credit because he fights.
Listen,
tough
he fights
opponents.
anybody, he fights best in the world. He's a former world champion.
And he's got an
Bellator,
attitude. Yep.
But
He's 38
honestly,
too. He's older.
honestly, he's not that good unless there's like a dude in the corner watching. if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. You don't. So you don't think that if McGregor were to come back, I know that he wants Nate Diaz. He wants that trilogy.
I want that trilogy. That is the fight that makes the most sense. But let me
Yes.
tell you right now, Conor McGregor does not want to fight Nate Diaz without a warm-up fight. He
Okay.
needs
Yes.
at the very least, he needs a warm-up fight. You're
Right.
not
I
stepping
agree
in
with you. I agree.
versus Nate Diaz, who is an all-time great, who
Yep.
has the best cardio
And he
of
loves
any active
marijuana.
fighter in the
Yeah.
UFC. You do not want that fight unless you get your feet wet again.
Yeah. And he loves marijuana too. So you think McGregor
Bro, I will
could
fight better on marijuana. So
McGregor, do you think that he will fight in 2025 in UFC?
honestly, I give it 50-50. I
It's
want it.
50-50.
Do I
Yeah.
think it'll happen? I truly don't know. Because I really did think the Chandler fight would happen, but
I did too.
Connor's been dragging his feet, and
Yep.
whatever
Yep. We
other
did.
whatever other issues are there. Listen, I don't want to talk shit about Connor because whether you like it or not, he is transcendent in combat
He
sports.
did. No, he
He
did.
is an all-time great in combat sports.
Yep.
You
He
have to
was
acknowledge what he's done and how far he has advanced the sport. But with that being said, he's still human. He's coming off a major injury.
Yep.
As much as I hate to admit it, ring rust is a real thing.
I agree.
And I he needs a warm-up fight and he needs two long training camps before he can be ready for a Nate Diaz fight.
For Nate Diaz. Okay.
Yeah.
And other than Nate Diaz, do you see any other opponents that he could go after? But I mean,
The
do you
only
think
two I see are either Michael
Chandler?
Chandler
Yeah.
or Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker, really?
Yeah, very much
Oh,
so. That fight would be
okay.
pure violence. Dan Hooker is a dog, as game as they come, and he's not gonna go for a takedown the way Michael Chandler will. So I think the Dan Hooker fight would be a very appropriate first fight. Hooker, I mean, as long as Hooker doesn't die when he fights Justin Gaethje, so we'll see.
All right. So we're gonna go back and look at the UFC Fight Night that's this weekend. There are quite a few fights. There's quite a few names that we're unfamiliar with. But
Well,
it's good to see they got no, they only got one. They only got one women's fight. That's kind of like I said to you. That's kind of disappointing. It seems like the women's division has dropped off significantly.
Well, I mean, it's gotten a little bit shallower in the
Yeah.
UFC. I mean, listen, I'll watch top of the division fight any day of the week, but when you have ladies outside the top 25, outside the
Right.
top 15, rather,
Right.
I mean, cool, but
No,
yeah.
I mean the only women's fight on here is Jasmine Devikas versus Myra Bueno Silva, a Brazilian. That's the only women's fight, but I mean,
Yeah.
Jasmine is 12-3-0 and Myra's 10-4-1. So, I mean, they're winning fights. They are working their way up the card. Have you heard of either of these two?
I have Not as a matter of fact. I
Yeah.
just I just looked at Jasmine's record. No familiar names. I'm
Right.
looking at Myra's record right now.
It's
She's coming off.
flyweight.
She's coming off a two fight losing streak. Um, she had no contest versus Holly Holm back in 2023. She
Oh,
then lost the decision to Raquel Pennington January 2024, and then got knocked out. TKO. It was actually a doctor's stoppage
oh,
against
so
a no name. Uh, in June, late June of 2024. I
so
mean,
she's had some big fights. What's a no contest? She had a no contest against Holly Holm. What does that mean?
that means there's no winner, but they're stopping the fight.
Oh, okay. The fight got stopped for some reason. No one took a win or a loss. It counted as a draw. Is that what? Is that why
So
she's 10-4
she
one?
fought Holly Holm. It was it was originally she won performance of the night. She submitted Holly Holm with a ninja choke, but it was overturned after she tested positive for
Oh,
ritolynic acid, which is
wow.
Ritolynic acid is a substitute phenethylamine, an inactive major metabolite of psychostimulant drugs, methylphenidate, phenidate, and
What
ethylphenidate.
what is it? What is it? What advantage does it give you?
I do not.
You don't know.
Oh, excuse me. Know what she tested positive for, actually? Ritalin. She was on Ritalin.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
thought if you have a prescription for it that
I
they
don't
let you
know.
fight on it. Yeah.
I don't know if she has prescription, but
But
most
she got,
likely, if she
yeah.
had prescription, she would have
She w-
brought it to she would have submitted that to the athletic
yeah.
commission and
Yeah.
gotten a what's called a therapeutic use exemption or TUE. She didn't do that, so that tells me she was taking it for the
Right.
performance enhancing
Right.
benefits of taking it before training.
And UFC approve TRT as well
That
in
was
certain
that was about 5 to 10 years ago. It
yeah.
was therapeutic. They call it again a therapeutic use exemption for TRT for people, fighters, male fighters rather,
Who test
that
low,
were that were
had
that
low
had
T.
doctors analysis that they needed TRT, but that that practice was greatly abused, especially
Yes, yes,
by
I know it
most
was.
notably by Vitor Belfort. So that was discontinued.
Didn't Chael Sonnen to you? What he did it too, or no?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Chael
Okay.
Sonnen's been very open about his drug use,
No, he was. He
and
was.
he said when he fought Jon Jones, he had more juice in him than Tropicana.
Okay. So
But he also said that as soon as he locked up with Jon Jones, he knew that he could feel the strength of Jon Jones. So he has alleged he could tell that Jon Jones was also on performance enhancing drugs. But again, that's Chelsea's word. But again,
well,
John has
John.
also tested positive in the
Yes,
past.
he's been caught a couple times, so that's disappointing to hear. So the prelims go right into the main card. We talked about this again. I don't think you've heard of these fighters. The featherweight division, Muhammad Naimov versus Khan Ofi. And it's 11-3-0 for Muhammad and 12-3-1 versus Khan. It's amazing that all these guys have like major winning records. Like there's nobody that has poor records. They definitely put people in
You
who
don't fight in the UFC if you have a poor record.
right. Oh, okay. So obviously that means that all the fights didn't come from UFC. That's just their pro record, obviously.
Exactly.
Okay. So, are you familiar with either of these fighters?
Not particularly. I'm looking at Muhammad's
Yeah.
record right now. Not a whole lot of names on except for Eric Silva, who he fought in Mexico City, and TKO'd him in the first round, but it was due to an injury. He's coming off a loss to Felipe Lima.
Yeah, he's 5'9", 145, and Khan is 5'7".
Yeah.
Only 5'7", 145. He's a little guy. Yeah, but it looks like though Magomed had quite the winning streak. Muhammad had quite the winning streak going until he lost to Lima.
He did, but that was 3 fights in a row in the UFC, and the last fight's a loss. Unfortunately, I don't have a link. Where is how many fights in a row has Khan win? Won or lost, rather?
Khan, on the other hand, he has won 3 in a row. He's coming off 3 wins against R. Dolze, J. Canor, and B. Allen. Those were his 3 fights.
Lost in the shuffle as not really a whole lot of names in there. I'll just give this one to Muhammad because looking at his record, he only has 1 name, but he has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of the last 7. So I'll definitely give this one to Muhammad.
Okay. I think I like Muhammad as well. This one is also interesting. Saad Nurmagomedov versus Vinces Oliveira. This is a bantamweight fight. And it's Magomedov is 18-3-0, and Vinces is 21-3-0. So you got guys with pretty good records going in. 5'6", 5'9", it looks like. I'm trying to see the full profile. Magomedov, he's won 4 out of his last 5 fights.
Mm-hmm.
His only loss was to Martinez by decision.
Yeah.
And he's fought on a couple pay-per-views as well. So he could be going. I mean, anytime you're Nagomedov, you're going somewhere.
Yeah, I was actually about to say whose last name is Nurmagomedov. It's a bantamweight fight.
Are they all related?
Honestly, I don't know if he's related to Khabib, or if Nurmagomedov is just the new Smith in Dagestan.
Yeah. Right. It's that's what it is over there. It's just like Smith. And
he is from Dagestan, so.
Oh, okay. And and then you got Vince's Oliveira. He has had 4 wins in a row. Steve,
I don't have a link, unfortunately, for him. Who is wins versus?
Okay, so H. Yoshiano.
Last 4, okay.
V. Madrigal.
Okay. Yeah.
That was on Dana White's Contender Series. B, soap jazz. SOPAJ. That was a fight night. And then he had a pay-per-view when UFC 303, he beat R. Simon by decision.
Oh, he beat Ricky Simone?
Yes, Ricky Simone by decision.
Okay.
Unanimous decision. So, I mean, he's got a four-fight winning streak. I hate to go against a Nurmagomedov, but I definitely I think I'm going with Oliveira over here.
I tend to agree with you, Steve. Nah, you know what? I'm going with Nurmagomedov.
I know you like the Nurmagomedovs.
No, I don't, Jess. You don't bet against Russians, bro.
You don't bet. Okay, all right. You don't bet against the Russians. So now we have Sergey Pavlovich against Pavlovich is a heavyweight, and this is the one that you said somebody played croquet off his head. Jairzinho
Rosenstruck.
Yes, who played croquet off his head?
Francis Ngannou.
Francis Ngannou played croquet off his head. Yes.
He did play croquet with his head.
Yes. He's 15-5-1. And he's from what in the hell is Suriname?
Where
is that?
It's a shitty country.
It's a shitty country. That's all you have to say. It's a shitty country. Where's it located?
I do not know.
Oh, okay. All right. I've never heard of that country before.
Rosenstruck was born and raised in Paramaribo. Where is Paramaribo?
I've never heard of these places.
I have a feeling it's in Africa.
I was going to say the same thing. But obviously, Sergey, I like him because he's younger. He's 32, and he's a southpaw, which I love. And you said you never bet against the Russians.
Very valid. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for.
But he has lost his last two fights. Mm-hmm. That's the only disappointment. He did lose to Aspinall.
Yeah.
Wow. So he was up there. Wow. He was up there.
Listen, Jamar Rosenstruck has.
And Volkov is nobody's fool, as you like to say. He lost to Volkov by decision.
Yeah. So, you're looking at it. Rosenstruck, I don't think he's really been the same since Francis Ngannou played some croquet. But Sergey's the absolute beast. He's just more well-rounded. Whereas Rosenstruck is definitely more of a striker. I think Sergey's just going to pose many problems for Rosenstruck. So I'm definitely going with Sergey here.
So let me ask you this, because it's listing on ESPN. It lists the top, I guess, heavyweight fighters, and it says switch fighter heavyweight. Francis Ngannou, Stipe, Derek Lewis, Cyril Gane, Curtis Blades, Volkov, the guy that got croquet hit off his head. Overeem, who I didn't even think was active, and Ryan.
Overeem is retired.
Okay, so I wonder why they have this list here like that, because that clearly is not accurate. Because Stipe's done. I do love Derek Lewis.
I love Derek Lewis too, but
he just swings for the fences, and that's it. That's his game. I love it.
Not real. Derek Lewis is a good boxer, and honestly, I told you the story where I was at Foxwoods for a UFC Fight Night event,
Yes.
and the fight was Overeem versus Derek Lewis, and
Yes. I
Reem. I
I
was like right
watched
in the
that.
aisle. I was right at the aisle, and Overeem comes out, and I'm like, "Holy yes, he's big." And I'm like, "Okay." Then Derek Lewis came out, and I'm like,
Wow.
he is a block of. First of all, I'm taller, but he is and Overeem's taller, but he is an abs. I look at Overeem, and I was like, "Ooh, that'd be a tough night." Then Derek Lewis came out, and I was like, I want absolutely no
Nothing.
part of that. Like Derek Lewis just being that close to him and looking at him and sizing him up, absolutely terrifying.
And
Just lunchbox for fists, and he's one of the few guys
he
that
does. He does.
jujitsu does not work on him. Like he literally just gets up off the ground when he wants. Um, yeah, Derek Lewis is terrifying. I don't see. Well, he's not fighting, is he? No, he's not.
No,
Sorry.
no, no. I just was it was
Yeah, yeah.
interesting that they put rankings
Like,
there for the heavyweight.
at the end of the day,
I don't know what that
I
means.
do not see uh Jairzinho having the requisite skill set or
No,
toolbox to
no.
beat Sergey. Sergey is a very versatile fighter, so I don't see Jairzinho having the chops. If I was Sergey's coach, I'd be working on his wrestling and looking to put Jairzinho on the ground because
Yeah,
Jairzinho's only path to victory
he's a
is
striker.
via striking or
Yeah,
knockout or outpointing him. So
right.
I
But
don't
it
see him being able to stop Sergey if Sergey wants to put him on the ground.
it's interesting. This actually looks like a pretty good card.
Yes.
Before, when we first looked at it, I didn't think much of it, but the main card is pretty good. It's guys that have experience, have been in big fights, and they're not just bums off the
Yeah, that's
street.
it. And honestly, I'm looking at Sergey's page right now on Wikipedia, and Sergey is well versed in sambo. Um,
Sergey
if
probably washes his balls with like cold water. I could see him just being that tough.
I mean, that's a lot, but
No, I know. I mean,
I
I
just
think he
don't.
does.
As long as Sergey utilizes grappling, I don't see Jairzinho having any way to combat that.
Right.
Listen, um, I don't think Jairzinho is that much ahead, below rather. Uh,
Really?
I don't think Sergey is that far below Jairzinho as far as striking goes, but
Oh, okay.
Sergey definitely has a market advantage in
Yeah.
grappling.
He's
So
more well-rounded for sure.
more well rounded. He definitely has an advantage as far as grappling goes. I would, so long as Sergey utilizes grappling, I don't see Jairzinho's path to victory.
I got you there. I got you there. The next fight is very interesting. It's a middleweight bout with Shara Magomedov, who is 15-0
Uh huh.
against a guy that you like very much, Michael Page.
Michael
I know
Venom, MVP.
I know
Yes.
you love him. You love him.
Michael,
Uh
good dude. I ran into like him and I hung out, shot the shit, took some pictures. Um, at a Bellator
really?
event. Oh, at a Bellator event, yeah, great dude, great guy. Very good to his fans. Very knowledgeable. And in his last fight, he really showed how he's evolved in his last fight versus. Sorry guys, I'm scrolling down. Versus Machado Gary, who, like last it was a close fight. It was a decision, but he got outpointed. Ian Gary, as much of a cuckold weirdo as he is, the guy can fight. The guy is talented, even when he's sitting in the corner watching his nutritionist and his wife. But yeah, I I this is a very important fight for
Yes.
Michael Page, but he has an absolute enigma in his way in Shower Bullet. Shower Bullet is the real deal. He is probably the one striker in the UFC who is as unorthodox and as diverse as Michael Venom Page. This fight has fireworks written all over it, and guns to my head, I feel like I have to go Shara because when you think about it, even if the striking, they're both great strikers, but if the striking cancels itself out, if both fighters striking neutralizes the other fighter's striking, it goes to the grappling. And Shara, with his background, even though we haven't seen it at all in the UFC, if it becomes a grappling match, Shara Bullet has the decided advantage.
Yes. Yes. And you can't argue with the name. I mean, he's a bullet. So
Yes.
you got to go with that. So that's disappointing. Your boy, Michael Page, he's 22-3-0, and it looks like he's going to take a loss here. And just Shara is just vicious. I mean, with all these victories, I can't even imagine how you could win 6 in a row like that. That's definitely that has to be a challenge. And then we go to our main event. Israel Adesanya, the last style bender. I always wondered what that meant. What a style bender is.
It is a reference to a cult classic movie.
Oh well, I know that movie.
The Last Airbender. The Last
Yeah, that was a M. Night Shyamalan thing. I thought it was awful. Izzy really needs this. He's lost 3 of his last 4. I'd love to see him come out victorious. You know, he had been, he was champion, and then he was going to be a champion of 2 weight classes, but he ended up losing. Correct?
He lost to Polish Power.
Yes.
And he then fought for the middleweight championship, but was choked out by the colonizer, Dricus
Duplessis. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Duplessis. Sorry, Duplessis. So I've never heard of this Nasser Dean guy. Can you tell me a little bit about him? He's 15-4-0. He's 6'3", 186. He's won the last 3 fights. And one of them was before that a no contest. He's been on he's been on pay-per-views, he's been on fight nights. He's very well versed and experienced. And this is what bothers me. The last fight this man took was in September of 2024.
Yep.
And now it's January. So it just seems like he is one of those guys that's not taking
really not that much of a layoff.
That's what I'm saying. He's not taking time off.
It's about It's about
Yeah,
let's call it 3 or 4 months.
that's what I'm saying. He's someone that's not taking a huge layoff. So to me, that's impressive. I mean, do fighters have a theory behind, how often, like, do they go in with a plan and say, okay, I'm going to fight 4 times this year. I'm going to fight 5 times this year. I'm going to fight 2 times this year.
General rule is most guys fight 2 or 3 times a year when they're in the UFC. That's generally the case.
Well, I
There-
thought they fought
there's
4 times.
there's several different factors as
Okay.
far as matchups, what they're offered, their contract status, but
Sure.
generally the target is 3 times a year.
Okay. So I just think it's impressive. This guy fought in June, September, and now he's fighting again in February. I mean, that's just good for January. That's just good for him.
Also, look where he's
February.
from. Look where he is from.
I am looking at where he is from. He is from he's from France. Oh, he's from France.
Nope, look where he was born.
I don't know where I can't see where he was born.
He was born in Xavier, Dagestan.
Oh, he was. Wow. Oh, okay. Okay. But I really think Izzy needs this. Like, he's gonna come out with a sense of urgency.
I agree.
He's gonna come out
does
and
need
take
this
this
fight
because his he's 35 years old and his profile is dropping. So
I would say it's dropping. He's
well,
still
it's
one of the
dropping.
his brand has been damaged by his loss to
But
Strickland.
he does draw, though. I agree with you. He does draw. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing you have to look at: guys on the come up are fighting guys at lower stature and lower ranking. Izzy is fighting the best of the best.
He
top
does. Yes.
position.
Yes.
And maybe they looked at this as, hey, let's give Izzy a break. But he's also fighting a guy from Dagestan. So
Yeah. So you don't consider him French, even though he says he's French.
he's from epic Dagestan. You're not French, bro. Bro, you're not French. You're from Dagestan. If you're from Dagestan, you're not French.
Okay. I'll give it to you. So let's quickly just take a look at the UFC 312 that is coming up.
Yeah.
And it's your buddy there, Duplessis. Did I say it right?
Dricus Duplessis.
Duplessis. Okay. He's defending his middleweight title against Sean Strickland.
Sean Tarzan Strickland.
Yeah. Who UFC has wanted to be kind of like the up and coming nice face. And this is a rematch.
The up and coming nice face. I don't think the UFC particularly likes Sean, but
I thought they did. No?
He is a ratings bonanza. And
Yeah, he's a nut job. I think he's a nut job. Yeah.
honestly, he is so popular amongst the most important demographic, that 18 to 40
18. Yeah, he is. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because of he's got the rainbow colored hair.
Who? Sean?
Strickland. Doesn't he? Yeah. Doesn't he color his hair? It's like weirdly colored.
You're thinking of Sean O'Malley.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Sean O'Malley. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Strickland is different. Okay. That's why I was getting it mixed up.
Strickland is super blue collar.
Yes. I remember him now. Okay.
He has lots of trauma in his past, and he is through and through a cage fighter. He threw away his jiu-jitsu black belt because I don't know why, because jiu-jitsu works, but he doesn't like using it. Um, I yeah, like Strickland's just a character, and I don't care what anyone says. I bought in. I'm a giant fan, but listen, Drickus is no joke. I Drix's path to victory is a lot tougher than it was with Izzy because whether you want to admit it or not, Izzy is an elite striker, but Sean's comparable. But Sean also has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. As much
Correct.
as much as he doesn't like to talk about jiu-jitsu or use his grappling, he's still like, and you're a black belt, you're an elite grappler, unless you're just never training. So, I mean, I give Sean the advantage overall.
Wow.
Drake is just super unorthodox. They're both like physical beasts. They're not like body guys, but like they're both beasts physically. So, I mean, I give the advantage to Strickland, but you can't argue with the success that Strickland has had at the highest of the high levels. So to me, really is a pick 'em fight.
Well,
Like
it
either
said
guy could win, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Duplessis and Strickland earned Fight of the Night honors on their UFC 307 main event last January. Strickland called for an immediate rematch after losing via split decision, but his lack of title defense worked against him. Since then, Duplessis submitted Israel Adesanya, and Strickland beat Paulo Costa, which was interesting.
Well,
So the
I,
rivals renew their hostilities.
I
They truly don't like each other,
no,
and,
I don't blame them because listen,
and
you
they
can't,
really hate each
you
other.
can't take anything away from Drickus as he has walked the walk. Like at the end of the day, the fight still has to happen, and he
Yeah,
has walked the
absolutely.
walk. But make no mistake about it, he's a complete douchebag.
Strickland is he's a complete
No,
douchebag.
no. Drickus is.
Oh, Duplessis is
You can't
he's a
argue.
douchebag.
You can't argue with his results.
He's
But
a,
make
he's a
no
douchebag.
mistake, Drickus Duplessis is a complete douchebag.
And what? How do you know this? I'd love to hear that. How does Tyler King know that he is a douchebag?
One, I've watched him talk. Two, he's from South Africa. That's enough, right?
That's enough right there. Because he's from South Africa, he's a douchebag.
South Africans are generally douchebags.
They're generally okay. And Dana White said that Kazma Chimaev is the
Hazmat Shimaev.
yeah, there you go, is going to fight the winner.
And
Um,
deservedly so.
yeah. So the card, the main card. See, I love the straw weight, the women's straw weight title. Zhang Wali, she's just a
What?
beast.
Excuse me, Wally Zhang, Steve.
Well, it says Zhang Wali.
That is because the Chinese
They
put
spell it
the M
backwards.
first. So,
Oh, okay. Wali Zhang.
when I watched her, I watched Whaley Zhang. I believe either win. I forgot if she won or defended her championship at the TD Garden tonight. Sean O'Malley won the belt. My date at the time was decidedly not a fan of mixed martial arts. It was my ex who was there with me because I wanted to obviously see the fights. I'm a huge fan. It's in my hometown in Boston. I'm a,
Do they
I,
give you tickets for free usually?
for that event, I did get tickets for free.
Yeah, I
I,
figured.
uh, well, not through the UFC. I actually was
No, I'm sure
I was
probably
I was given a pair of tickets
one of the
by
fighters.
shout out Mike Polver for hooking me up.
Oh, Pulver
So
did. Okay.
excuse me, what happened was my one of my clients gave me a floor seat and I traded that to Mike Polver for a pair of tickets on the first on not on the floor, on the first one, not the balcony, like the ground level bleachers. I traded one ground level seat that one of my clients gave, one floor seat my client gave me, for a pair of tickets for me and my then girlfriend. So yeah, and
Okay.
amazing event. Sean O'Malley, hell of an event. But Weili Zhang made my ex a fan that night of MMA. She was so impressed by the determination and the grit of the fight. And that's a real thing.
Was that the one when she fought that Jordana girl? It was like the bloodiest fight ever.
I am not sure, to be honest.
No. Okay. Do you know what fight I'm talking about? No, you don't. It was it had to have been February of like 2020. I thought it was Wally Zhang versus the Jordana, the one that retired. And it was like fight of the year. They like killed each other. The one had a hematoma on her head that was huge.
Oh, I'm about to tell you right now.
If you remember, I don't. I remember.
She defended the belt. She defended the belt the night in Boston versus Amanda Lemos. She. What? Who are you talking about?
I thought it was her. It was a Chinese fighter who fought that. I thought her name was Jordana, and she recently retired. And it was a bloody, brutal match.
Oh, you mean Joanna Jędrzejczyk?
Yeah, it was considered at the time. They said it may be fight of the year. It was so bloody, and the one had a hematoma on her head.
Yeah, that was Joanna.
Okay, yeah, that's the one, Joanna. Yes,
I believe that was UFC 275 in
yep.
Singapore.
Okay, and who ended up winning that?
Joanna Weili Zhang knocked out Joanna with a spinning back fist.
Right. Okay, that's the one I saw, and that's why I became a fan of her. So she's the strawweight. It's for the strawweight title. Yep. So again, explain to me this. She is the favorite. She's minus 160, and she's fighting Tatiana Suarez, who's plus 135.
Well,
so how does that work?
Excuse me, how's what work?
The betting, like if she, Wally's minus 160.
It's pretty much an even money bet. Usually,
Okay.
when a fighter has a plus, like you'll win a little more. You can bet less to win more when a fighter is plus. But plus is the underdog. Minus is the favorite.
Correct. So if I bet $10,000 on Tatiana Suarez, she's plus 135. How much would I win if she won?
Probably like $10,800.
Oh, that's it. It just adds on another $800.
You'd be plus. So if you bet 10,000, you'd win like 20,000, like 21,000.
Oh, holy crap! Wow, that's a lot.
No, it's almost, but like it's maybe more like 20,800. It's pretty much.
Oh, okay. So that's why you like to bet the UFC, because that's a pretty big payoff.
Yeah, exactly.
If you get it right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are going with Strickland.
Yeah.
And middleweight. You got to be going with Zhang.
Yeah,
in the strawweight, correct?
I have definitely leaned towards Weili Zhang, but don't count out Tatiana Suarez. She's very well versed, very well rounded, and a former champion. So,
Oh, she was. I did
yeah,
not know that. Okay.
champion.
Okay. And then we have Justin Tafta
Yeah.
versus Taliesin Texteria is the heavyweight bout. I don't know. I don't know either of those guys. Who do you like, Texteria?
Well, Justin Tafa got knocked out dead by my friend Jorgen De Castro. And no, like Jorgen's like a good friend of mine. We trained together extensively. Jorgen had a walk off. Jorgen was brought in to lose. Is his first fight in the UFC. It was
Oh,
first fight. Is his first fight after the his one on UFC Contender Series. So he was brought in to lose to Justin Tafa, and what Jorgen did get the memo, and Jorgen absolutely hits like an absolute Mack truck. So Justin Tafa rushed him, and Jorgen stepped back and dropped a right hand that right on Justin Tafa's chin
put him to sleep.
that put him in the netherworld to put it and I am putting it kindly. Shout out
Yes.
Jordan. Shout out Jordan. With that being said, I don't know a lot about Towson. There's no link here. What's Towson's record?
I have no idea. I just it doesn't matter. It's just hilarious.
What's hilarious?
That he put him to sleep like that.
Put him in the netherworld.
The nether.
Jorgen De Castro put Justin Tafa in the netherworld. So I mean,
Yeah.
but okay. I will go with one of my other rules here. First of all, I watched Justin Tafa since that fight. He's been impressive. With that being said, Towson has no link. There's no link to Towson's profile on Wikipedia. I don't know a lot about him, but I know Justin's shown to be pretty. He's on. Let's see. I looking right now. He's coming off a loss.
Right.
It's
Yeah. Okay. Listen, we'll talk more about this. We got to wrap this up. I have to ask you one thing.
okay.
There was an article that said Duplessis, Sean Strickland had a demand for UFC 312. And he demanded that because Strickland he was taken down 6 times in the split decision. So he challenged the Duplessis to only stand and trade with him when they run things back. He said, "Look, it's ridiculous." And Duplessis was furious. He said, "It's a ridiculous thing to ask. If you want to make pacts about us just standing up and doing boxing, I don't go into fights thinking I have to stand up or take a guy down. I do what the situation tells me to do. That's what MMA fighters do. I'm comfortable everywhere." So what do you that's pretty ballsy of Strickland to say, hey, Duplessis, I don't want you to take me down. I just want to stand. So, I mean, you got to have some opinion on this request. It's from the challenger, too.
All right. Duplessis wants no part of the hands. Strickland has shown himself to be an absolute elite striker. He has shown himself to be beyond tough. And as far as like technical striking goes, the widely considered one of the best technical strikers in the sport is Israel Adesanya. And what did Dricus do with Israel? He took him down, submitted him. Furthermore, what did Strickland Stu versus Izzy. Knocked him silly and beat the bag out of him for 5. He had the most success striking against Izzy anyone has had in the UFC. Strickland is both tough and he's just shown such an acuity for the striking game. I promise you, both because of Strickland's striking ability and because of the cucky bitch ass nature of the colonizing South Africans, that Drickus will not adhere. Drickus absolutely, positively will not adhere to that. He's gonna try to take Strickland down, but Strickland is nobody's fool anywhere. If Drickus is successful in that takedown, Sean has enough of a Strickland. He's a black belt. Whether he threw that black belt in the trash or not, he is going to be able to negate what Drickus brings to the table as far as grappling. So I think if Drickus tries to take him down, Sean will stymie him and force the fight on the feet where Sean has the decided advantage. Honestly, I call this fight either a knockout or decision win for Sean Strickland.
Okay. Unfortunately, we have to wrap things up. This was a fabulous MMA report.
Was pretty good.
I did want to mention our sponsor, one of our new sponsors, Ned Von Young, former teammate. He opened Fresh Fold Laundromat, Fresh Fold Laundry Company. They are incredible, ahead of their time. They offer online services where you can book appointments. They offer a subscription service where you can have a weekly or bi-weekly service. They wash, dry, and fold your laundry in record time and have it ready for you. And they offer so many different services. It's a great place. We hope Ned Von does well. The website is www.freshfoldlaundry www.freshfold-laundry.com. So I got that one.
What was that? I forget. Steve, what was Ned Von's nickname? I remember he had a nickname.
I have no idea. I didn't even know he had a nickname. You think he had a nickname?
I mean, one of them was Snake, but I know he had another one.
Oh, well. Oh, great. He had a snake. Okay.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, too.
Tyler, you know what? In our locker room, there were a lot of snakes. So, I really couldn't decipher. There were snakes everywhere. So I was
locker room.
I was petrified. I was petrified of the snakes.
A very well endowed team.
So, good thing for Ozzy. And anyone else, and I know you're fighting, and is anything on the horizon for Louise?
Not that I know of right now. We haven't really been in contact lately, but we will see.
And then, that's what I was going to say.
I can't say enough about Ozzy Martin's performance.
Oh, yeah, he dominated.
A bit. Listen, his opponent has a rock for a head. Because
that's what you said. You said that.
Ozzy landed about 7 head kicks. At least 4 of them were like full shin to neck, shin to jaw, and homie didn't go down. But I mean, he did get taken down, and hey, he realized he wasn't going anywhere, so he took the easy way out and tapped out. I'm glad he did that because he saved himself a lot of brain damage, but hey, you fight 170 and you want zero part of Ozzy Martin because he is the future.
No, he is. He is for sure. So we look forward to that and to see where he goes next as well. So, for Tyler King, the Marauder, Crowne Sports and Entertainment, all he does, he's going to get up tomorrow morning, he's going to train, he's going to teach some class, and then he's going to beat that ass and then pound it. And I am the best podcast host.
Times.
What'd you say?
I'm going to train like 2 or 3 more times.
And then you're going to train 3 or 4 more times, and you're going to pound 3 or 4 more asses. And possibly.
I mean, hey, I don't even know if Ross has trained in the last 2 weeks, so better get trained.
Yeah. Good. Go for it. And I am Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. This has been the MMA Report. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and just